this is the dashboard. So when you log in, it will show you your watch list or your portfolio. You can hook it up to your broker, and it will automatically download your positions along with it will figure out when you got into those positions, so your basis cost in those positions. And in this, I just arbitrarily created a watch list in July of last year, and you can see it's up 38%. Happens to be outperforming the S&P, which is up 9%. But as we look here, it has some interesting tools. It has a valuation tool, diversification tool, risk level. So if we go into diversification, this will actually tell us how diversified our portfolio is. This is showing the portfolio allocation. So this is actually based on fundamentals, Peter Lynch model. Is it overvalued or undervalued? Let me see if I can get to diversification here. Oh, it's actually at the top. And so here we see risk profile, moderately aggressive, diversity. There's a high concentration in communication services, 64%. So I might want to take a look at that, but it's just one of many tools to help you assess your portfolio. And it depends on your own objectives, and maybe you have an investment advisor as well, but this would be able to tell you, are you too concentrated? If you're a 60-40 person close to retirement, what level of aggression should you have in your portfolio? So we also have my favorite investment ideas, and this will give you fundamental and technical ideas to trade, potential trades every day. And right now, as we're kind of coming out of earnings season, we don't have as many fundamental calls. We tend to get those surrounding earnings reports, but we do have a number of technical plays. And in particular, I wanted to look for American Express. There we go. And when we pull this up, it's going to show that it has a long-term target of 151. That is 48% above the current price. And it's telling you the stock has formed a pattern called bottom triangle, bottom wedge, providing a target price, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just take a look at this in a chart. And here, and this is what I love, it actually draws out the triangle for you. And so you can get a visual representation. And this is a huge triangle. This goes back about a year or more. And usually I don't see triangles this big, but there it is. And way over at the right, you can see prices just breaking out. So that could be a powerful signal. Ideally, you would also want to see that confirmed with volume. And we'll get those figures at the end of the day. But then at the right, it'll tell you what the pattern means, the event description, and a lot more details here. Now, if we want to go back and just look for fundamental ideas, we can sort by those. And here we see, let's go for a bullish one. Here's one on Apple. I actually covered this the other day, and this, I believe, has to do with the stock split. Press the right button there. And here we go. So we pull this up, and this will give you some information from Argus Research. They provide all these fundamental reports. And indeed, it's about the stock split, 4-for-1 stock split, raising target, reiterating buy. You can see all the reasons why here. And then you can also view Apple in a chart. It'll take you right to the chart. Don't have any pattern to look at, but here we are. And Joe, we haven't talked about Apple yet, so I'm going to bring you back in, and maybe you can share your thoughts on Apple, because we have another huge bearish candle here right at the top, but it's by itself. We don't have confirmation. And so what would you be looking for in a potential top here, and where would you think about getting back in?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the most widely held stock in the market, and I mean, this is where I talk about getting strong entry points. It's clearly extended from a proper buy point, but it's one of those things where how do you bet against Apple? A lot of people are just holding the stock, and you could have said it was extended so many times along the way. But this is where if you're not in it, I would wait for some sort of as I said, in strong, for people who joined in late, in strong markets, both strong stocks and strong indexes hold that 21 EMA. So that would be an area, if we do get some volatility and consolidation towards the end of the quarter, that would be an area I would look at to possibly enter the stock.
All right. And we're getting a question from the audience here from Stephanie. How do you incorporate volume into your technical analysis? Which are the indicators that best reflect the interaction of price plus volume for you. And Stephanie, I'll share my favorite one right now. And this is a free indicator on our website called volume. Some places it's called volume at price, and I believe here it's just called volume profile. This is similar to market profile that was developed by Pete Stottlemyre in the 1980s. And for every price bar on the screen, whatever is visible, it's going to show you where the volume is clustering. And so if we take a longer term view, that really gives us a picture of some of these bases here. And you know, for years, Apple, and this doesn't go far back enough, but for years, Apple was dead money. It wasn't always a growth stock. It has been at different times. It is now, but this can easily show you where the accumulation is happening. I mean, from here in May until that was May 2015, all the way until at least March of 2017, it was in a base, and it hadn't broken out until early 2017. Then it went all the way up and retested this. Bottom line, and I'm going to zoom out here, when you have a stock that just goes up day after day, it doesn't really accumulate that much volume. And so sometimes it's a quick trip down. And when it's a quick trip down, you need to know where that volume is. And so right here, I'm going to zoom in on these days. You can see we've come down in this level we touched in here. We do have this volume as it was consolidating for at least a few days. That's a long time for Apple. And then again down here, we have volume spiking around 110. It looks like around 120 as well. And again down here, we have this other accumulation zone. So that's one thing that can be powerful. And then anchored VWAP. I talked about that before, and I'll just do another example real quick here. Oh, it's under A. I'll go back there. And I'm getting a message. We only got 5 minutes left, so we're going to go through some things. But 7/24/20 is the anchor date, and that's what we would plug into here. And just put in 7/24. And like so, we have a line that could act as potential support for the market. And there are lots of different methods of calculating support and resistance. People use Fibonacci, and if you think, well, a lot of entries are made at the 50% level, that itself is an average of the high and the low. So a lot of these methods kind of overlap and become self-fulfilling to a degree. So, Joe, any thoughts on some of the other technicals that you look at?
Yeah, I try to keep it simple. I like that volume profile is a great feature that you guys have. I keep it simple with just price and volume, and use the moving averages as a guideline. You pulled up some technical analysis tips. Just keep reading, get a chart book, learn how to read charts, look for consolidations to buy off of. You don't want to buy things when they're going straight up in the air because they have a probability, like a rubber band can get more and more stretched, but they have a higher probability of snapping back at you. So getting strong entry points, weekly charts to look at the overall picture, and just, basically main thing is price and volume. Keep it as simple as possible.
I agree. There's a stage where a lot of beginning traders go through. It's called indicator fascination, and everybody's playing with squiggly lines. There's nothing magical. There are some tools that give you an edge, but you got to find that edge. You got to stick with it. You got to make rules. You got to stick to your plan. You got to have a plan. A lot of people don't.